The phone's ringing. Everybody's calling saying, you found them. Hey guys, today we're just gonna go fishing. You know, over the years, a lot of people have heard the word junk fishing, and today I think we're gonna do some of that. I'm gonna teach you what junk fishing is. I literally back my boat in off the boat ramp, put the trolling motor down, we're just gonna take off fishing. This lake is extremely low. We haven't had rain for a very long time, and I have camo on because I'd like to be deer hunting. It's just been too hot. It's almost like fall. You know, it can't get here. Summer just won't let it go. So even though we're in October, it's still more like that, you know, that September fishing, which means tougher fishing. Have a lot of rods laid out. The thing about junk fishing, what it is it's everything that's not pattern fishing. You know, there's not enough in this lake. Like if I catch them on laydowns, if I catch one on a laydown, there's not enough in this lake right now to run a pattern. If I catch them, you know, doing something else, there's just not enough of it to run because of the lake being so low. So that's where junk fishing comes in. You may have to pull over here, flip a log. You may stop and fish this boat dock. You may pull over there. You may be running and this bank be catching wind and say, hey, I'm gonna pull over there and do that. That's a lot of the things that we have to do fishing. You know, there's some days there's pattern days, and those are great, planned out. But there's a lot of days like today where I believe it's just going to be junk fishing. You know, one of the things I like to do is, you know, it doesn't matter if we go to a new lake on the Elite Series or if I'm just going fishing, I'll just put the trolling motor down just like I did right now. I've been fishing for about 22 seconds and just take off fishing. You know, there's a lot to offer out here. There's flats, there's some deeper rock, there's some trees in the water, but I want to keep my, you know, I want to keep my eye out, see if there's any schooling, you know, see where the bait's at, if it's all the way in the back of these creeks or if it's halfway out. Just kind of get a feel for everything before I start running around and checking a lot of stuff. And that's why, you know, I put this lipless on just where I can cover water and not get caught, you know, fishing too long in the same area. So I can put this on, fish around this creek pretty quick and just kind of get an idea of what's going on. I haven't been out here in, you know, a few weeks, so, and this time of year everything changes each day anyway, so that's right there is how low the water is. Boat ramps, what, 15 feet from touching the water. It ought to make fishing good though, because there's not a lot of water for them to be in. You know, there's something about these style of banks that I really like in the fall. You know, just these old gravelly with some chunk rock. I don't know what it is about it. You know, we have three options on this lake. We have this kind of banks, we have just straight mud, and then we have the steeper rock. And there's just something about these, and I don't know if it's a, you know, the night's getting cooler and the bait and stuff, like, I don't know, but they, you know, it doesn't matter if I'm throwing a buzz bait, whatever. There's just something about these kind of banks. See, we're coming up on a log right here. I mean, you come across them. It's not like we can just run logs. So we're literally just gonna pick up a spinnerbait, make one cast. And then just keep going. You know, even this time of year, whenever over the years fishing, whenever I get a pattern going, you know, say we're practicing for a tournament tomorrow and I come out here and just kill them, you know, throwing this one knocker on these style banks. This time of year it changes because it's all bait oriented. You know, everything moves. It's not like they're just staying there. All they're doing right now is swimming around chasing bait. Got to be able to change especially this time of year, more so than any. So right through here, you know, it's got a little bit deeper, so feeling the square bill through here. Didn't look that deep, but they really like flat stuff in the fall. Even if it's, you know, close to something deep, they like that. I guess where they can get up there and chase shad and stuff. Somebody's catfish rig, I bet you. They're chasing bait right up there. So just then we went 200 yards from the truck, and the bait's getting more and more as we get to the back. Like I'm seeing it all the way across, and there's, you know, fish chasing them. Of course, we got some wind blowing in here too, so that probably plays a big part. I know that's about 4 bites, and I've caught 1 white bass. Look at, I mean, you can just hear it. It's like perch popping in lily pads. One thing, when the lakes are low like this, you know, you lose a lot of your targets. So whenever you do have one, like that old log right there, you want to give it everything you got. A lot of times I'll run square bill by it, maybe a spinnerbait by it. And as I get up there to it, I might even, you know, flip it with a tube or something. Just give them a lot of chances, because, you know, you look around, there's not much in the water, so chances are there's one laying on it somewhere. It's funny this time of year how you make, I mean, I've made 10 or 15 casts on the same piece. He doesn't want to bite. He's sitting there because he's got thousands and thousands of shad around him, but you just hit that one right angle where you put it on his nose and he'll bite it. You know, so we got a couple of logs here on this flat, and you get into fishing stuff like this, you waste a lot of time. It's kind of like docks, you're fishing in between, but you know, coming up to this log right here, I want to try to pick off any easy ones first. So, you know, I'm gonna make a couple of casts down the side with the spinnerbait, and as I'm floating up there, I'll pick up my flipping stick and drop it in his living room. A lot of times though, you can pick up one on the edge, then as you're floating up there, especially in the fall, you can, you know, flip it or make another cast and get a couple of fish out of it. If I ease up there with my flipping stick, you know, I get one on, he thrashes around. Chances are I probably won't get another bite. Always gonna look for, you know, like the thickest part of it. Even this is just, it's just an old treetop, but the part where it's the thickest where they want to hide out. You know, the place we started in, they had a lot of shad, a lot of bait, and a lot of fish chasing, but I just could not catch them. So we just moved, you know, and you know, if it was one of those where I was pre-fishing for a tournament or something, I would note that. You know, say I didn't catch anything today and I had to fish tomorrow, then I got nothing else to go on. So yeah, I'd go back and fish in there and figure out a way to catch them. But you know, today we're bouncing around trying to figure out a way to get bit. And it's just, it can hurt your feelings this time of year, because there's a lot of fish. There's fish everywhere, but there's not a lot of fish in one spot. So it's just hard. It's just so hard to run a pattern. There's a time whenever I fish, you know, tournaments, I cannot tell you how many times I go fish the first day of the tournament and I don't even know where I'm gonna start. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And that's when fishing just takes over. You know, you go out and you just go fishing. You fish the windy points and you pull up and you flip a log or two, and you don't have a plan. And that's like today, I don't have a plan. I'm literally running down the lake just fishing what looks good. But I have, you know, even though I've not caught a bass yet, you know, I've learned a lot. You know, I've learned that, you know, so far it seems like a lot of the shad are back in the pockets because I haven't seen any on the lake. Everything's been way back. I haven't seen any fish activity out here. So even though I'm not catching anything, you know, I'm learning a lot. First bite, giant. But it's the first bite. Oh, he came off. Dang it. Never got a good hook in him. That was a 2.5, maybe 3-pounder. Yeah, so like, I'm throwing a square bill, holding my rod high because I know that metal is probably 2.5 foot deep. So anything that's sitting there is not going to be real deep. Water's a little clear to throw a spinnerbait down the side of it. I mean, like in the fall, there are no rules about where they're going to be at. They can be anywhere. There's one, good one. Nope, not good. Hey, this is the first for fall fishing. I got 2 bites doing the same thing. You notice where that fish came from, the bite? It's open right there, and right there is where the metal stops, and that's a corner. Like, it's different. It's something that he can set right there, and he can't just see. I mean, he doesn't want to just see out in front. He wants to see all the way around him, and that's why a corner, like, that's why they get on corners where they can see everything. Finally. Just gotta throw it. Now the first 5, you know, lost them outside the mouth when they jumped, and that one ate it. And I think the reason being is right here we're in 5, and that crankbait cleared, so he was able to get it. You know, the rest of it is just so shallow that they're actually pinning the bait on the bottom, and it's just hard to get a good hook in them. So if I was fishing tomorrow, I'd have me a crankbait that ran a little bit shallower. Obviously, I mean, I'd like to have one that wouldn't even touch bottom, just run a couple of feet deep. If I do get a bite off bottom, I lose it. The phone's ringing. Everybody's calling saying, you found them. He ate it good too. He was hooked across the mouth whenever he first jumped. You know, we fished down through there about 300 yards, not any shad. And then I got in this pocket, I could see him. There's a ball right there, you can see him popping. So it just boils down till we finally hit a spot that kind of set up right, you know. Would not have a bad 5 fish if I'd have boated everything that bit. See you, buddy? Like he was on the bank. Right up there by that big rock. You fish for, well, we've been fishing 3 hours, and then you catch your 2 biggest back to back. Just don't make no sense. I think we got around some. Get the bait scattering whenever. Oh, wrong kind of fish. He's the old white bass. He liked to feed in though. He's been gaffed. Well, I think it's time for supper, even though we only spent about 3 hours. You know, junk fishing. I got a bunch of rods, I got a mess up here. You know, we kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. It kind of seems like the best was the old square bill, so, which is typical. I mean, just covering water and grinding the bank and grinding the bottom. So, you know, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you riding along.